A tree. I love them. When they blossom, I feel that this is the real spring. It is still cold in Ukraine, like +5, but it feels that the winter is still showing its teeth, trying to fight back, but we are pushing hard. The spring is pushing hard, and soon the spring will win. There is no doubt about it. Last week we had our anniversary with my wife, and it was April 14th, and we had a very good gift. The Russian warship sunk on that day. We will win. Oh
yeah, there we go. There he is. Alex Dayrabekov joins the program live in Cherkasy, Ukraine. That video gives me every feeling that I need. That is fucking awesome. I had no idea you loved apricot trees. The look in your face was like childlike. And then you tied it into the fact that, oh, by the way, it reminds me of the time we sunk that Russian warship last week.
It was quite the way to tie it together. It was really good.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Alex. How are you, my friend?
Hey, guys. So good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Well, today is actually the day when there were no air raid sirens. Within the last month, we heard them 5-6 times per day, sometimes at night. But today, nothing. Why?
Wow.
Because they refocused completely at Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast, at Donbass.
So that's incredible. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about Ukraine. We're going to talk about, obviously, the Russian invasion of Ukraine has been going on, 57 days? Are we 55, 56, 57 days right in there? If I'm not mistaken.
54, I guess.
54 days. My bad. You've been in Cherkasy now for most of this, resident of Irpin and Bucha, but Irpin is where you are. We're going to talk about Bucha. There's some great stories coming out of Ukraine. Obviously, this is still going on. But that spring video, the video that we just saw, was incredible. I had like the apricot tree, and I had no idea. Is that how you knew spring was coming? Like that feeling of regeneration, is that really a thing for you, or were you just vamping for the crowd? I've never met a dude that loves apricot trees as much as you. I like the cherry blossom trees. He's a cherry blossom guy. But is that spring to you when the apricot tree rolls around and the blossoms start coming out?
Yeah, the apricot trees are the first ones to blossom here, and for me, it's like a symbolic. It's typically gold when the apricot trees blossom, but it is a sign of the winter that will soon. It is gonna get warmer soon, and also this is the week you guys had your Easter last Sunday. We typically have Easter in the week after Catholic Easter. So this week before Orthodox Easter is typically cold, and after Orthodox Easter it becomes warmer and warmer. So for me, this is a sign that soon, in a couple of weeks, it's going to be really warm and even hot.
There's spring comes around, obviously once a year, but it means different things to different people. Like I know Lachlan, we're big cherry blossom guys up here. You're an apricot tree blossom guy. Lach, what about you in Edmonton?
No, Mike.
And we generally have like a really significant sign of spring, and a lot of people know this. James P. White on my show on the Locker Room, I pick him up in the mornings, and he lives in the hood, so I got to drive from a suburb into a rougher part of town. And so it's interesting people that live there. And when it warms up enough, there's a gentleman that is a little slower, I'll say, and when spring arrives, he likes to stand on a particular street corner and whack off. So we know it's spring. I think his name is Jerry. And so they usually arrest him once or twice, but he gets back out there every year.
Jerry's
yeah,
around the
blossom.
corner when Jerry's
Well,
out there.
it's a long winter here, Alex. As soon as spring shows up and it gets warmer, everybody just runs outside and masturbates. That's how you know it's spring in Canada. Is you got a ton of really angry white people running outside going, "Thank God, eh? Thank God it's getting warmer." And then we go back in our houses. It's like
He
an Easter egg
dances,
hunt, but it's
he
different.
He gets into it.
Okay. It's been waiting for a year.
Yeah.
The whole year, Alex.
Can you imagine?
Winters
Can you
are
imagine that
long
pain?
here.
Oh,
Anyway, enough of how we know it's spring in Edmonton, by the way. But all good news. Spring is in the air. I want to get to a couple of things. Obviously, Alex, the last few days, the tenor around the war in Ukraine changes. What have you noticed over the past several days? We've heard about some attacks in Lviv, Western Ukraine. We've heard that the Russian troops are doubling back. You sent this to me today. I know that bombs are falling in Odessa right now. And this, God love the Ukrainian people, this cartoon that they put out where the Russians are trying to get to Odessa. And it's like they extend the fucking middle finger to them. Like, whoa, that was close. But what's happening operationally? And good news, you're in Cherkasy, which means you're not in and around where the bad stuff is going on. It's still going on, but what's the tenor of what's happening now?
Well, we are right in the center of the country, and it's probably the safest place so far because no bombing, no shelling occurs here. It is no strategic importance, which is good for us. But Lviv is closer to the western borders, and there was heavy bombing and shelling yesterday. They hit a car shop. What a military object that is!
Yeah,
like a car dealership.
Very strategic.
Yeah, it was like a garage, like that they do muffler changes and tune-ups and stuff like that, Dean. Yeah, okay. And a couple of they were actually working. They had guys in the shop working, and the owner said that I don't want to exaggerate, but I think there was three people that died in that explosion.
Yeah,
Alex,
seven or eight.
I heard about 7, but in fact we were invited to go to Lviv and stay at an apartment of our friend. And then she sent me a photo yesterday with the smoke that is seen from her windows, like about 500 meters away from her place. So it's actually close. Mm-hmm. So it's not safe. It is safer here in Cherkasy than in Lviv, which is a lot more to the west.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, near Poland, right? That's the entry into Poland, Hungary, that area right there, Western Ukraine.
And I think a lot of the international media is in Lviv. Am I right, Alex? Yeah.
Actually, all the embassies were relocated to Lviv before the war. But the good news, and which is very, very up.
Did we lose him? He froze.
So the good news is that the French embassy said they announced they are relocating back to Kyiv, and this is the 7th embassy. So 7 embassies have moved back to Kyiv.
Wow.
Oh, that's huge news. Fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah. So they've made a conscious decision, even in this difficult phase of the war, that they are going back to Kyiv.
That's significant.
Well, because diplomats are usually the first people out, right? Like, I mean, you get those like, hey, by the way, get out while you can because trouble's coming, and they got out first. Now they're the first ones back in. Obviously, it's safe. We're talking about Irpin, Bucha. I'm going to mess up the name, Hostomel. I'm trying to say it right, and please forgive me if I don't. Which is experiencing this incredible cleanup. I mean, we've all seen those pictures from Bucha. We've seen the terrible pictures out of Irpin, which is your homeland, your town, your city. It's where you live. Alex, by the way, you can follow Alex at Dayrabekov, his last name with an @ on Twitter. He's one of the most compelling follows on the internet. Please follow him. But you sent me these pictures, and I found these to be truly incredible because the before and afters are unbelievable. Where is this, and what can you tell me about this scene here?
It's actually one of the central streets in Bucha, the one that leads to Irpin, where I live. And this specific place is about a mile from the place I live. This is the street where the convoy of a couple dozens of armored vehicles and tanks was actually burned within the first week of the war, and they had been standing there until Bucha was liberated. And this is the same spot, but from different angles, completely different angles.
Yeah, the first one looks like it's going north-south, if that is indeed north-south or east-west, and the other one is the opposite way, right? Which you can really see, like if you, and I was looking at this today, Alex, you can see the white paint on these telephone poles on the left, and they match up with the ones on the right, and of course that ATG sign here, but the difference in the cleanup, like when did they start cleaning this up? When they got back into Irpin and Bucha? About a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Is that correct?
Yeah. 2 weeks within 2 weeks, all the streets have been cleaned up in Bucha, Irpin, and so the cars can actually go and people can go. But there are still several hundreds of people who lived through the occupation, and they continue living there, and that doesn't make any sense to live now. Yeah. But it doesn't make sense for those who left to come back, because the water, there's no water. Electricity is just being restored. In many places, there's no gas. So, okay, I come back home, and what do? I cannot take a shower. I cannot cook food. So, so it's really empty. The cities are really empty. Those who went there, my friends and my neighbors, they said, it looks like, feels like it's Chernobyl. Chernobyl, like devastated place. Well, okay, it's cleaned up and all, but it is like, okay, it's empty, and lots of ruined buildings. 71% of buildings in Irpin were destroyed. 71%.
Jesus. Good Lord.
You think about that too, because I read somewhere yesterday, I can't remember where I read it, but you could probably attest to it, is that there's this movement now to go and seize, not block Russians from taking money out of the bank, seize a bunch of Russian money to give back to Ukraine in the tune of $100 billion or something like that, because the damage that has been done so far, and this is a very low estimate, according to the pictures we've seen, is like 100 billion plus. That's my understanding.
Oh, yeah, Irpin alone estimated of $1 billion is needed to rebuild. Just Irpin, which is 100,000 people. But what you just said, Dean, is a good news, because I understand that it is just the talks that are in the U.S. Congress now, and it just needs to go through political procedures and all. But this has been in the past with Iraq and Afghanistan, by the way. In Afghanistan, in February this year, the U.S. government froze $7 billion and gave it away to those who evacuated from Afghanistan and those who were damaged by the Taliban.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that they did that. That's very interesting. Did you guys know that? I had no.
There's a misconception. That's where a lot of the I think a lot of the anti-immigrant sentiment comes from, is, oh, well, we're just going to pay for everything. Well, the funny thing is, they don't realize that the back channels is the G7 and like NATO nations will actually go and take that sanctioned money and pool it back into rebuilding, supporting their refugees. And so
fascinating. And then the rebuilding process is incredible. One of the pictures you sent me, which I thought was unbelievable, is a bridge just outside of Irpin. I think it's Irpin, right? This was the bridge that was, and I remember, if I'm not mistaken, if this is the bridge where we saw all kinds of people trying to come up through the rubble and trying to get out of Irpin when it was bombed early in the days, and we saw a lot of chaos there. But was this not the first bridge that was blown up by the Ukrainian government to prevent Russian tanks from moving into Irpin from that direction? Is this the same bridge?
It's actually another one. It's not that one, the one you mentioned, but there have been like a dozen of different bridges that were blown up. Mm-hmm. By the way, the one that you saw has become so symbolic that now the idea is that just to keep it like this, to keep as a tourist attraction, so that people can come, feel.
Wow.
So they already built a road around it. They've built in 2 weeks. They've built a road with a bridge, a smaller bridge, a temporary bridge around it. so that there is still, at least there is some traffic there possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's interesting for me, Alex, is just knowing what Dean was preparing for the show today, and trying to focus on some of the positive stories out of the Ukraine. It's interesting because I think the world now has a way better sense of what the Ukraine is, right? I mean, we know way more about the Ukraine than we ever did, all of us to a man. And I think it's interesting that not only are you guys, you've got that dark sense of humor, you're wildly patriotic, you're not, I mean, you guys got fight in you, and but you're also very hardworking people. I mean, the turnaround from some of these cities that have been, is just, it's unbelievable.
Unreal.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's moving. It moves me to see guys in hard hats while the war is raging over them trying to fix a bridge so that they can get their country back. It moves me to see streets like this cleaned up within weeks of literally gangs of terrorists terrorizing entire cities and neighborhoods. And how it looks like that. There's a water truck that was used to clean up the streets after they got rid of all the debris and the nightmares that people had to walk by for weeks and weeks. It's absolutely moving to all of us. And speaking of moving, that bridge that you're talking about, I think it's this bridge, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's the bridge. That's that very famous bridge that they're trying to.
That vehicle that's upside down is a famous picture from all of our news coverage here in Canada and around the world.
Yeah, where is this, Alex? And tell me a little bit about this bridge.
Oh, this one is actually from Kiev, a direct highway to Irpin that was built about 6-7 years ago. So, no, sorry, it's about 10 years ago. But still, it's like the bridge that I used every day, every day, you know. And it was blown up on the first day.
Yeah,
and it was a good thing, even though the Russian convoys didn't even get there. It was a good thing, even psychologically, because, you know, they had their own plan. They just go. They were supposed to go from north of Ukraine, from Belarus, directly to Kiev, and on their way they blew up bridges. One bridge, so they had to turn, and another bridge, they had again to turn, and another bridge. And they were like, and then they went to European, and then another bridge. So our military, I don't know who, intelligence, they made them actually go around Kiev. So they just stopped on every corner.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
it's fascinating. I mean, you know, it's borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, but in like the most egregious of senses, right? Like it's incredible. The other thing that shocked me was this video that you sent me of this like wedding. Now, you know what they're using for? It kills me. It makes me laugh every time. You know what they're using for? It's so good. You know what they're using for limos in Ukrainian weddings now? You guys
Russian
will love
tanks.
this. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look at this.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they put it to like death metal too, which is fucking incredible because Ukrainians love their rock and roll. But they used a stolen Russian tank
That's amazing.
to bring the wedding party to a Ukrainian wedding.
That's
I love it.
good.
I love it.
That's
so
amazing.
funny.
Again, more good news. But I mean, again, Locke, it speaks to that resilience, right, fellas? Like, you know, seeing streets cleaned up, the war's raging. These guys are active members in an army, and they're like, what do you want to take to the wedding for a limo? And the guy's like, we got about 200 of these tanks in the backyard. We might as well take one of those. And they put Ukrainian colored balloons all over them, too.
Someone call Farmer Joe and see if we can borrow one of the 18 tanks he stole.
Are they, Alex, are they repurposing the tanks to fight back at the Russians as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's
we see them being stolen all the time. We see them being dragged behind tractors all the time. And it's in the hundreds, but we never see them back in action. What do they do with those?
Well, yeah, lots of them are used to fight back. This is probably why the Russian propaganda says that they have destroyed more than 2,000 tanks. Although we in total have around 2,000. But I'm not sure if I'm right, but I saw somewhere that we already have up to 1,000 tanks that we took from them, and we are using against them now. But
yeah, they're taking a lot of assets from Russia, including some really like strategic ones. Apparently, there's some military intelligence units, like mobile units, that they've seized, and they've now learned how to decipher what they do. So they're not being overly talkative about it, but they're ahead of the game when it comes to asset reallocation. That's for sure.
It's a nice way to put it. Sorry, Alex, you were going to expand on that. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, just this video was shot in Sumy that was liberated literally 1.5 weeks ago. So it was really almost captured by the Russians, and now it's like, okay.
You know, it's interesting.
Look at the fucking like armored vehicle. Yeah. They're like, let's just take this bad boy, and we'll take a tank, and you can get in the back of the Toyota RAV4. And everybody's piling out of these things like they're wedding limos. Sorry, Locke, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's you know, it's funny. We're speaking to the resilience of the Ukraine people, and what you guys are dealing with, you know, repurposing weapons and getting all of these donations from around the world. I heard one broadcaster in North America talking about, you know, it takes time to train people on these things and teach them how to fire these things. And then I think Zelensky, President Zelensky, was on camera going, "We'll figure it out. Just send the shit to us."
That's pretty
we
much
don't
it.
need to fly to Poland to learn how to fire a gun.
Yeah.
Just send us the crap and we will learn how to use this. Okay.
Figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So that's interesting. Even he knows that the rest of the world, I mean, we're not talking about a bunch of North American like wimps that grew up playing video games. We're talking about like we're
real men and women.
Yes, they'll figure it out. All right,
exactly.
Point in here, hit this button. All right, we got her.
It's that industrious nature of the Ukrainian people too, right? You know, like I was watching a video yesterday of these guys pulling, like literally with a welding saw, pulling stuff off of a tank, laughing, going, "Hey, we could use this. Hey, we can use that." And then I saw another guy that had fashioned like a howitzer to the top of his barn, and I'm like, that's unbelievable. Like,
that's insane. That's so good.
Anyway, I want to get to the sinking of the Moskva, which was a wonderful thing on your anniversary. How your country
anniversary
two missiles totaling $500,000 to sink a $700 million merchant of death ship in the middle of the Black Sea. And the video is absolutely incredible. But I would love to know. We'll play the video. Because Russia's lying their little tiny dicks off, of course. You know, there's like, I just had a fire.
It was flood. It was bad weather.
That's almost more embarrassing, isn't it? There was a couple of sailors. They were smoking a spliff in the laundry room, and it caught fire and sunk. I don't know.
And then they arrested. They arrested the ship's captain, and he's now in the Hague because he, I guess didn't forecast.
He's been firing fucking missiles at people for the last month and a half.
But he didn't forecast the weather properly, I guess. So that's why we put him in jail.
So here's a video. What do you know about this, Alex? If you could kind of give us some Cole's notes on the sinking of and I didn't know this, literally the only ship of war that Russia owns. Like, this is fucking incredible. Look at this.
Yeah. It's the first and only video.
There's no video.
There's no other evidences of that.
No.
But this is the flagman. This is the most important warship in the entire Russian fleet. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to keep the air defense over others. So they lost the air defense over others. In fact, they had about a dozen other warships. Half of them have stepped back from the shore because they are afraid they can have the same fate.
It's interesting that Ukraine as a whole has been pretty tight-lipped. I mean, everyone in the world knows that Ukraine sunk that ship, but your officials, your public officials, are pretty quiet about it. I think that's a strategic move.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody knows. Everybody knows.
Do they need to say anything, really? You know, like.
Well, here's the question I have: how fucking useless is Putler's army if, like, a couple of guys with javelins can make their way down to the dock and go, fuck, fire at it, go ahead, let's give her business? Because that's what happened.
Yep.
It literally 2 Ukrainians with 2 shoulder-held javelin launchers hammer the fuck out of this thing with two tubes. 2. That was it. Everything that I've read said 2. Originally said 11, and if you actually look on the sinking ship, which kind of gives me a bit of an erection, you can see like all these different little black marks. They thought that each one of those was like an entry point, but no, it's like literally they shot it right underneath where the power center was for this entire ship, and
sunk it.
It in the explosion that happened and the stuff that we've seen is incredible. But how on earth, and is it just, are the Ukrainians this good at modern warfare, or do the Russians just suck major ass at it? There's the question.
Well, there was an entire operation from what it seems now. I even found a whole article on Russian propaganda Telegram groups that explained the whole operation from Ukraine, which seems to be very reasonable. So it was quite a complex operation where javelins were just distracting attention. And there was Neptune, which is Neptune, you know, this god of the sea in Greek mythology. This is the name of Ukrainian missile system specifically for hitting ships. It has been in development for the past 7 years, and it was still in its like trial period, so to say. So it was basically one of the first attempts to shoot, and it was so good. So the javelins distracted attention. Then probably from Romania, with help of some NATO radars, they tried to see because it was the night time, it was dark, so it helped us a lot with the information. And then these missiles hit directly into this ship, which was a fantastic success.
How was that received in Ukraine? Like, how is the news of like Russia's really only warship, the one that was managing the skies and taking care and shit? Like, you're smiling now, so I imagine it probably was received quite well.
Yeah, but we remember this story. The first day of war, this little island, Snake Island, that was captured, that was attacked by specifically this warship. This
warship?
Yes. This was this warship that they said, surrender or we will shoot. And they said, fuck off. Ukrainians said, kill us. We are not going to surrender. Yeah. So this was this warship. In Ukrainian, it sounds a little different. It sounds like "Idi nahuy," so go to hell, but in a more negative meaning, in a more derogative meaning. So now we are laughing because we sent this ship to hell, and it went to hell.
That's awesome.
You know what? Russia's calling it their first in their new submarine fleet, by the way. It just won't be moving ever.
Yeah. They got promoted.
So, so we're using the stamp on our merch page, Alex.
Yeah.
I found out about the stamp last week, so we sort of hijacked the image and we put it up on the donation page. So if you go to the Dean Blundell, if you go to deanblundell.com and you hit the shop button, there's a link there, and Dean's, the store is selling a bunch of stuff, including the Slava Ukraine shirt, which I'm wearing right now. And then if you hit that one in the middle, that's just a cash donation box. And we did some rough math last night, Alex, because we knew you were on today, just to find out where we're at. We're trying to raise as much money as we can in the month of April to send to you, so that you have some money to play with to keep up doing what you're doing. And we have raised just over $5,000.
Wow.
So hopefully we're kind we're kind of hoping now. We wanted to get to 3.
Yeah.
And we wildly surpassed our expectations with the t-shirt sales and the cash donations. And now we're actually trying to get to 10. So we'll keep you posted on that. Yeah. Yeah. It's unbelievable. People in this country want to do whatever they can to help Ukraine out. And, listen, we're not a huge business or company or anything like that, but we have people that listen every day, that give a shit about what you're going through, and thank them. A
lot of very generous anonymous donors as well. That were very generous with us. And,
a lot of them didn't want the shirt, so maybe back to the drawing board with the shirt. But
what's wrong with the shirt?
I love it. Cool. I didn't realize this was this shirt. I saw the yellow top, but I didn't see. Wow, this is cool. But thank you. This is such a great news. Thank you, everyone who donated and who bought the t-shirts. This is really incredible, and we will use it to support those who are in need. There's so many people in the north of the country, those liberated areas, that just really they suffer with hunger. They just don't have any food. Whatever they have is just what they plant and have in the gardens. It's like potatoes and carrots. That's all they have.
Well, we'll be able to send you a chunk of cash that you can use to continue what you've been doing, Alex. It's just an unbelievable story, and I feel blessed to have met you, and I know that the Dean and Ryan feel the same way. So. Whatever we can do, and I got to thank everybody too. We can't believe how it just keeps rolling in. I get email notifications every time a shirt gets bought or we get a cash donation, and I'm just like, look at this. My wife, I keep pointing and showing with another one. The $100 just came in. It's crazy.
But you know what that speaks to, though, Alex, and I think we can all say this. It speaks to the fact that you put yourself out there and that you accepted where you are and decided to do your best for everybody else. And these are just little things that we could do. It's not a lot of work for us in terms of comparative work when we look at the work that you're doing on behalf of the people in the country that you love. So we're going to try and get to 10 grand. We would encourage everybody to go to deanblundell.com, hit the shop logo right on the top. You can donate. You can buy that beautiful shirt that Lachlan's wearing. By the way, it looks nice on you. You don't look like such a loser in that, that color. It's actually a great color.
I don't look too bad. I don't look too bad in it. Yeah.
No, you look pretty good.
Quality too.
Yeah,
I liked it. Yeah, it's a nice, good cotton shirt. Nice, strong cotton shirt. So there you go.
So you can still get that shirt, and you can also donate if you go to deanblundell.com. The shop is on the main page, just a drop-down menu, because Alex likes to go and buy food for people, clothes for people, microwaves, blankets, diapers for people, specifically in bomb shelters. And I know that you're still working with restaurants, correct, to feed people? Is that what part of this money's for?
Yeah, well, there's several directions. We started and we continue supporting the bomb shelters, the underground stations in Kyiv. But then we figured out that there's other directions that need help. For example, there's more humanitarian aid coming, and there's warehouses with lots of stuff, but somebody needs to transport it. So there's need for fuel. Volunteers are ready to invest their time and efforts, but they need money for the fuel. So we sponsor them. Then we also sponsor the restaurants that make food for those who are in the bomb shelters, and also sometimes they also deliver it to the army or the territorial defense or police that needs food.
Firefighters.
And the fourth direction that we identified now is that those liberated areas that just don't have anything, they just need detergent. They just need simple stuff So we have some volunteer teams that go, and it is not really safe to go there because there's still many explosives many bombs, many landmines in those areas, and they go risk their life and deliver this stuff to those people.
To Alex's point, there's another picture that he sent me. We'll make sure all these get into a post later on today at deanblundell.com. There's another picture he sent me. I believe this is in and around Bucha. Is that correct? Nothing grows here, man. Like this is just one small area. These are munitions that were discharged, I'm understanding, or extra munitions that were left over. I mean, this is the area where people are trying to find food, look for food, use a bathroom, get clothes, and it is impossible. Where is this, Alex? If you could kind of explain that to us.
It is Bucha and Hostomel. It is close to Bucha. It's called Hostomel, but it's the same area. But this was collected only in one day. This is just 1 day collection. Within those past 2 weeks, there's been, can't remember figure, but it was more than 1,500 of those items collected. Wow. And every day they find more and more. And every other day we hear of a story of somebody who is killed. Or today there was a truck that went to Irpin on a isolated road, and it got on a landmine, and the driver is killed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's what are these live munitions, Alex? Like, are these just leftover shit that the Russians left behind, or are these discharged? Like, are they used? And by the way, in the middle of the picture, I think you can see some bongs too. So maybe there's some partying going on there.
Yeah, I can see fugas on the left side. Those are fugases. One of them was actually close to, well, in my apartment complex on the parking lot under a tire of a car. One of the fugases. Mm-hmm. Others, I just don't. I'm not such an expert to know what it is.
I'm sure it's a mix of undetonated and detonated there, but they're dealing with it. It's already, they say, the most littered region for munitions that are buried munitions already as it is in the world at this point, and now they're dealing with more and more and more. And you know,
crazy. I mean, we don't even think of that danger, right, as part of this. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Last thing I want to
some of those are tank that are shot
tank
from
munitions.
Munitions. Yeah. I mean, I'm not an expert either, but
no. But I mean, dude, that's 1 day, like Alex says.
Yeah,
like, you know, the cleanup effort's been going on in that region for a couple of weeks. That is 1 day times 1,500 live or used munition rounds by 14. Right. Well, what do you get? A lot, like 18,000. Yeah. 18,000 in the last 2 weeks. You know, and it's not just the fact that they're cleaning it up. I mean, what you're talking about is they're leaving these things intentionally behind cars, underneath wheels, behind doors. Like they booby trapped the whole fucking place after they left. Correct?
Yeah, actually, there's I have a photo somewhere from Irpin with a grenade in a washing machine. So they left a grenade in a washing machine. So if you open it, boom.
Yeah, they have them tied to trees and everything. I've seen pictures of they just be sneaky putting them everywhere. It's nuts.
Pricks. Yeah. Fucking pricks is what they are. Yeah. One of the things that's happening in Alex, I do want to, obviously we've talked about the good news. We've talked about the hope. We've talked about the sinking of the only Russian warship that they have. We talked about the resilience of the people and the cleanup effort. We talked about all the positive things, spring showing its teeth, like the people of Ukraine are doing right now to the Russian forces. But you know, there's cleanup to do in different ways, and this comes to, you sent this to us as well. And I found this incredibly sad for a couple of reasons. Obviously, sad because you know that these are people, but if you could qualify some of this for us, that would be great, because it's pretty sad stuff. These are just brand new, fresh graves, correct, outside of Irpin?
Yeah, it is actually in Irpin, and those are absolutely fresh new graves. If I remember correctly, 370 dead people just in Irpin, 420 in Bucha. Most of them, like up to 90%, were killed with a bullet in the head or a chest.
This is the effort that, you know, we see pictures, we see videos, but I mean, you know, this is the kind of stuff that we don't get, like as Canadians and North Americans, right? Is that, you know, the horror of the cleanup, the horror of what's going on has to be dealt with in the moment when you're going through it, when you're trying to struggle through it. So there's part two, and then there's this part of it, right, which is burying your countrymen and friends. I mean, I can't imagine, you know, who does that? How do you how do you volunteer for that? How do you? It's just again speaks to the resilience of the Ukrainian people. As terribly sad as those images are, getting on with the business of giving people a proper burial after they were executed and terrorized and tortured, and after Russian troops committed genocide, which is exactly what this is, trying to breed Ukrainian out of Ukraine. That's like how is who organizes this effort, and how does it work?
Actually, most of it is done by volunteers. Just people who would come and do the work, cleanups. Lots of volunteers who are residents of my apartment complex came to my apartment complex just to clean it up. Those graves were done by volunteers. This volunteer movement is something incredible. It's absolutely incredible in our country in many directions, including this one. But I just wanted to say another thing about this. I'm helping international lawyers with interviews with victims and eyewitnesses of such atrocities. And we just had an interview with a 19-year-old girl from Bucha who stayed with her parents in the city, and she saw the tanks coming in her street. And they were sitting in a cellar in a basement. And after several hours of sitting, her parents went out. And for 10 minutes, she waited for them. She came out to see them and saw them killed, both of them. And stories like this, multiple stories of that. So they were killed because they just went out in the street.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
none of this needs to happen.
None
of it. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, what the fuck's he doing? Like,
no, which is what makes everything so incredible. Which is what makes we've got a comment here. Sorry, from Emil. He said, "Dean Blundell Show. Please tell Alex that UA refugees are being welcomed in Sweden. Traveling country is free, and people are opening up their homes. Most welcome here. Sweden and Finland also, I believe, joining NATO shortly, which is very interesting.
Wow.
By the way,
That's a
great way to start.
Thank you.
But it's you said something, and I we'll let you go after this, Alex. We always love having you on. But you said something very fascinating to me: is the volunteers. These are all volunteers, right? And the volunteerism effort that's going on over there. When a volunteer actually willingly puts himself in a position where they have to do something that's going to be incredibly difficult, it's going to hurt them mentally, that is difficult to do physically after going through 54 days of war. It speaks to something that we don't understand over here. It's seeing people giving family members or perfect strangers the piece of a decent burial, to give these people what they need and to clean that place up. It's just another layer to this that I find makes me so grateful. I mean, these silver linings that we look for in nightmares like this is the silver lining of the volunteerism and the heart and the strength and the hope of Ukraine and Ukrainian people is a fuse that lights us on a daily basis. And I know it's awful, and I don't know, actually. I'm lying. I don't know how awful it is. It's a terrible thing for me to say. But being able to sit and talk to you, being able to have you come here and tell the truth about what your country's going through, and being able to highlight some of the really incredible stories that are happening. And as terrible as this is, the incredible story of people giving up their brains, their minds, their days, their hope to be able to give back to their country in that capacity, which is why I wanted to play the video. And I'm thankful that you sent it. It makes me want to be you when I grow up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so listen, we're going to let you go and enjoy the apricot trees.
Good.
We're going to try and get to 10 grand, and Lachlan's in charge of it. So we have everything worked out financially, but we're going to get you that money, and we're not going to stop until you're back in your house. So that's how we feel. And you're our friend, and we're not going anywhere, and we're going to be here forever as long as you're here. So we look forward to the chance to talk to you again. And the support that we feel for you is triple the support that we give to the people in your country. So thank you, and really appreciate you being here again, bud.
Thank you, brothers. That's what I
Good
love
to
you.
see you, Alex.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you, man.
Thank you. Talk
All
to you in a
right,
week.
You got it. Take care. Slava Ukraine, my
Ukraine.
friend.
Slava
Heroям
Ukraine.
slava.
All
Heroям
right,
slava.
go home, Slava. That's yeah, it's glory to the heroes, by the way.
Yeah.
That's the answer that he gives us, which is incredible. And the other one is glory to Ukraine, glory to heroes. That's the answer. How fucking
I'm
money
just
is he all the time?
Gonna go retweet his latest video
He's so good.
so that people can follow him on Twitter
At Dayrabekov. is where you
at
can find him.
Dayrabekov.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll retweet the video of the ship sinking.
Please do.
There we go.
That
All
was
right.
fucking great to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's porn.
yeah.
That's porn worthy. That one.
It's interesting because I don't know about you guys. I have this level of frustration at for the coverage of this war. It's just so pointless.
In what ways?
It drives me crazy, and the struggle, the needless struggle that this country is going through, just doesn't need to fucking happen. It's 2022, for fuck's sakes. What are you doing? Like, it's not right. It shouldn't be happening. We should be better than this. So I feel re-energized. I feel recharged when we have Alex on, even if it's a tough conversation like we had last week. This was perfect. I'm glad we focused on the good that's being done in the middle of this bullshit war today with Alex. But and I've had countless people. I had probably 5 or 6 people reach out to me going, I think people need Alex. Reach out to me in the last 12 hours going, have you guys got Alex on tomorrow? Have you got Alex on today?
Yeah.
Is Alex coming up?
You get a lot of those messages.
Yeah, they're getting used to the fact that this is happening on a Tuesday now, and he's just such a good guy. We've talked about his smile, right? I always try to find a way to make him laugh, and
you did it right off the hop where you said, it's spring when the guy's jerking off next to the radio station outside before he gets arrested.
Well,
right
he's
off
not getting that on CNN.
No.
When he's being interviewed by
things
Wolf.
are pretty hot over there. No one's going to be talking like when you're walking down the street with Alex in Dnipro, if he's there. If you're walking down the street with Alex in Cherkasy, his buddy's probably not going to look at him and go, "You know how I know it's spring? When Olga starts smacking her clam at the corner of 5th and Main. That's how I know it's spring." And so he gets, and he said that to me in a text earlier. He's like, "I love coming on with you guys because I get a different conversation. I get to tell you about it. I get to fill you in. I get to talk to Canada. I get to talk to your friends and your people. But more importantly, he's like, we're like fucking sweet relief for him on a Tuesday, right?
That's good. Yeah,
Locke's going to talk about the guy he saw jerking off in front of the Arby's, and he's not going to get that at his, at a garden party, or he's not going to get that when he's trying to feed people in a subway station, dude. Way to go.
Not.
You just lifted his spirits with a masturbation story. Hard to do, but Locke, you're a fucking pro. That's why you're a radio legend. That's why.
Thank you, guys. And I'd like to thank Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Jerry and his blue helmet.
Speaking of guys who should be in blue helmets, I want to get to the Alex Smith stuff.
Who?
I don't understand.
I want to make one more mention before we shift gears from Alex.
Please.
I want to thank Colin Bruce. We had him on last week to thank him. I want to make sure that that he gets a mention again because he is, I think, a big reason why we started to get some of those bigger donations in, because he threw $1,500 at us last week from Colin Bruce mortgage team that services Edmonton, most of Alberta, and parts of BC. If you're looking for any help on a mortgage, look him up. It's Colin with 2 L's, and he is part of the reason why we're above $5,000 already. And that was math from yesterday. We sold some today. Again, we sold a few of these shirts, and a couple more cash donations came in. And if you go to the deanbloodell.com, there's a shop button at the top on the nav bar. Click on that. It'll send you to the page where you can make a donation, buy a shirt. And if you're on my merch or my Twitter or Facebook, or there's a link to our merch, we get the same setup on and it's all going to the one spot, to Alex, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So there you go. Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done the plug. I would have just motored into the next thing. But this is why you're a really effective radio host.
I'm a radio guy,
95.7 Cruise FM. Get the liner in, Lachlan. Get the fucking liner in before 10 o'clock. Anyway, no,
Can
great
I tell
point.
you a quick liner story?
Yeah,
You
do
never-
want some
you
music?
never-
Do you need liner story music for it?
You were
Sorry.
never good at that, even when you were in radio, Dean. You used to, yeah, I'll do it, and then you just never did it. So
Well, it's like
Okay.
someone telling me what to do. It's the same whole idea, right? Read
So
this. Now I'm not
they-
reading it at all.
See, they've got these. They had this new idea on our radio station, and I don't know what they charge. Maybe it's a little bit more. It's like a premium. Somebody thought it would be a good idea to get the jocks to read a commercial live. So it's not produced, it's written for us. It pops up on my screen and I click on it and then we have to read it. And we got one right now and the guy that I've talked to the guy, he's just a sweetheart of a man. He started making this stuff. His name's David, and it's named after his mom who passed away. Her name was Karen, and it's Karen phytoplankton, and it's a nutrition supplement, so you can get it at Costco, and it's got a bunch of benefits. You can look it up online, and they sold him this package of these live reads, and I don't know if people have heard it, but it comes up at 8 o'clock, and it's fucking painful. We're so bad at reading these things. I don't have the attention span to do it live.
How long is this commercial? How long is this commercial?
Well, it's supposed to be a 30, but it takes us 60 seconds to get through.
Okay,
it.
hold it.
Fucking
You don't have the attention span to do a 30-second read?
you just did the Colin Bruce mortgage thing, fucking
Yeah, but
flawlessly
that-
without
But
any.
that
nailed
wasn't
it.
on paper. Like when it's in front of me and I have to pull the words
Do you
off.
seize up? You freak out? Do you
It's
freak out?
not the same. I can't explain it. I got an
You can't read?
alcoholic, dyslexic midget who's got to read this shit too. They're fucking awful. They're so bad. We're awful at it. And
Okay, hold it though. Hold it. Like the only thing that you said is the reason why you don't like reading it is because you don't have the attention span to sit through a 30-second read. Now, folks, if you don't understand radio, you get these things called liners or reads. That's all they're called. Sometimes they're 15. Sometimes it's a tag. It's a 5-second read. It can be anywhere from 5 to 60 seconds. 90's ridiculous. No one's doing that. Even though you should be able to muscle through a 90-second read. Like, fuck, we don't trust radio people to do 90 at all. So my point is this, is that may require, right, some omega-3, some
Ginkgo biloba.
some namaste.
Ryan, you've heard us do this, right?
Yeah,
And
Yeah, you're fucking horrible at it.
We boot fuck
Yeah.
it every
Yeah.
time.
Well,
yeah.
that's-
It's been
you
going
don't.
on for weeks, and we even told them stop writing for the three of us. I'll let Grant read it. And they're like, no, you're all three. You should all be involved. Okay,
Kinda
so we'll
should.
do it. We're trying to be.
I see their point.
We're supposed to toe the party line. So we took Monday off.
Yeah.
And then
Just to
today we
practice?
come in and Jimmy goes, oh my God, the Karen phytoplankton live read wasn't in. And I was like, oh, thank God. And then Grant was in the hallway and the
they pulled
traffic manager said, oh, you guys are back. Okay, I'll
Traffic
put the
manager's a
live
person in
read.
charge of commercials, by the way. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we'll put the live read back in. But we'll have to double it up because we missed a couple. And I went and I told her, I said, okay, that's it. I got to put my foot down. It's bad enough that we're reading it once. You cannot double up the live.
Lachlan, I have to interfere. I do, and I hate interfering. And you know me. I think the world of you. Last night we were on the phone. I took a picture of you taking a piss while we were talking in the middle of the call. Yeah, but like you know that we're friends, and I would tell you the truth whether you liked it or not. And I'm always on the side of the human being doing the job. You should be able to muscle through a 30. You should. And everybody in that room should be able to do the same thing if your job is to communicate on the radio. That's just my opinion. However, what you're saying is that you're asking us all to do this. Some of us are not capable for certain reasons. Then I get it. But you should be able to do that. That would be my opinion. That's
you would
like one of the...
think that guys that are professional broadcasters would be able to do a live read on the radio. I'll send you. I'll start recording them and I'll send them to you guys. So you
I wanna
can
hear it
decide whether or not this is
Maybe
good
it's a
for
brain
fucking
block.
the client or not.
I'm just
For sure it is if you keep drawing attention how shitty it is. It's fucking great for the
and
client.
that's it. And
We're
like
getting
this,
people requesting it now. I was going to make Jimmy read the whole thing last week.
this is the This is the whole like. This was born
Read
out
the
of like
Karen phytoplankton now. I love it. Fuck Trooper.
Yeah.
Give me the live read because that's way funnier. You guys can't read. Sorry, Ryan. I didn't mean.
No, I was just gonna say this was born out of the Howard Stern era of radio where they used to love his live reads because you got like they would fuck them up,
dude.
and it makes people talk about it and puts it in their head more than a jingle.
Painful.
Jingles get annoyingly stuck.
Yeah,
But if you guys actually just are you able to like read the copy, grab like footnotes out of it, and like vamp it or
bullet
no?
form.
Oh, there's a good idea, Ryan. Let's ad lib around it.
Well, it would make it a little more easier for people that are dyslexic and guys like you who can't get through 30-second read.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know what I have. There's got to be a pill for me. Maybe it's the Karen phytoplankton. I
Maybe
should
you
get
need the
Dave
Karen
to send me
phytoplankton.
some.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's the fucking ticket. You go 2 weeks ago, I couldn't get through this read. Now look at me.
Now look at me.
Karen phytoplankton all the way to the bank. Anyway.
Son of a bitch.
Speaking of selling things,
I knew you guys wouldn't
Alex
be on my
Jones
side.
won't be selling anything. I love you, man. Alex Jones won't be selling anything anymore. If you go to deanblundell.com, my friend Ryan Lindley did a tremendous breakdown of this fuckstick.
Is that not the best picture you've ever
love it
fucking
so much.
seen?
Yeah.
This
Alex
is
Jones,
not Karen
Infowars.
Not
phytoplankton.
about that.
Alex Jones, Infowars. As you know, he's like one of the world's biggest purveyors of disinformation. He's just a fucking piece of dog shit.
Yep.
So he's being sued by the Sandy Hook families because he's a Sandy Hook denier. 45 days, I look exactly the same. It's unbelievable.
I'm just redder.
So what happened, Linz? Because you know, like, and we'll defer to you because you wrote the definitive piece at deanblundell.com. It's about Alex filing for bankruptcy because he owes the parents of Sandy Hook in the neighborhood of $10 million for being caught.
It's not even really a total yet. It's a running tally.
Yeah.
But on Monday, whatever show he still does, I don't know what platform still hosts him. Wherever, I think it's just his website has an RSS or whatever.
You have to go to his website. He's been yanked off everything.
So he told his listeners, I was reading a quote on Monday that he's totally maxed out financially, and he was urging them to buy his tchotchkes and his disappearing money potion. He's got $3 million, he says, in cash left in operating expenses to operate InfoWars, IW Health, which is InfoWars Health, where he sells all of his fucking shit. But last month he was fined. Like, it's just been like a rolling tally of debt for him. Last month he was fined $75,000 for not showing up at a deposition in a defamation suit that he's a defendant in. But people are having questions about this because he's apparently between 2015 and 2018, InfoWars tincture snake oil emporium grossed like $165 million US. So everybody's like, okay, where's the money? Because he literally put on the bankruptcy filing, like the Chapter 11 filing in the States, $0 to $50,000 in assets, even though says he has between $1 and $10 million in liabilities. So
Yeah.
It pauses, and it kind of screws the Sandy Hook families over because it pauses the civil litigation while really good lawyers and accountants kind of like comb through his belly button lint and appraise it and sell it under
cash.
his ass. And and so they're gonna find the money to pay his creditors. This isn't the first time though that the Sandy Hook families have been fucked. They got fucked by Remington when they sued Remington. Remington filed for bankruptcy twice while this was going on, and still it drug it out for another year. Those accountants and lawyers showed up, and then next thing you know, Remington all of a sudden found $73 million to hand over to the families. So the same thing's going to happen to Alex Jones, and I cannot wait. I am here for it. I am following this closer than I've watched. Like, this is like Randy Hillier level for me, is to watch this guy go down because he's a piece of absolute fuck.
Totally. And the incredible part of this is that old adage, be careful who you fuck on the way up, because on the way down, they'll fuck you twice as hard a whole bunch of times, and your ass will get sore, and then you'll cry. I think I added the last little bit.
That's fine.
That second part isn't...
It's in there.
I don't know if that's the proverb or not.
It's adjectivey.
Yeah.
Is what it is. It's adjectivey.
It's a little clumsy, too.
Yeah, a little bit. But his wife came out yesterday. Did you see this? His wife came out, and she's like, oh, he's got way more money than that. Here's where he's hiding it.
Oh.
So Alex Jones is losing his shit now. He's fucking going, how dare you tell people where my gay fraud money went? How dare you?
Yep.
So, how dare you?
He's also... Sorry, like, just quickly before you, because I know you're going to want to travel with it, but what they do is they sell tinctures and snake oils and tell you, like we talked about yesterday with the testicle tanning.
Yeah, they got boner oil too.
Same thing, right? And what he's got a powder that he's been selling that has been recalled and investigated by the FDA and the FTC for containing lead, and it's supposed to apparently make you more virile as a man. Meanwhile, it actually makes you infertile. So he's also facing those. And every person that is in the Chapter 11 that's listed in there as a creditor is a family member or a parent of a child from Sandy Hook. He's literally saying that these are the people, this is why I'm filing for bankruptcy. The three companies that he's got up there, the Prison Info or Prison Wars, InfoWars, and IW Health, they're only three subsidiary companies of his actual parent company. And there's no filing of the parent company, so that's probably where all the money's kind of funneled in. But we'll see. These guys are good. Like, you can't fucking hide from these guys when they're looking for money. Like, they'll find it.
Well, they found John Remember they found John McAfee about a year ago, and then he hung himself because they're like, by the way, we're taking all your shit.
Yeah.
Because we're good at this and you're an idiot. Same thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to find this guy's money. They're going to drag it out into the open. They're going to give it to the parents of the Sandy Hook victims, and they're going to get some financial respite, not going to bring back their kids. The dude basically said those kids didn't die, and it was a false flag event. And I remember the Sandy Hook.
Yeah, it triggered people. It actually it triggered his followers, his cult brainwashers, to go after those families and harass them in person. Like, I saw a documentary where they actually followed one of the families around and watched these guys just show up and just yell at them, and you're a fucking actor. And meanwhile, they just buried their kid. You know, the Westboro Baptist Church was protesting the children's funerals, for fuck's sakes, because of guys like Alex Jones. And if he thinks that a company like Remington can't get away with it, and he can, he's a bigger idiot than I even thought.
I saw an interview with somebody involved in the legal side of this, and again, I'm trying to remember the whole time you've been talking. I'm trying to remember where I saw this, but it was one of those interviews where the guy looked at the camera and went, "We're gonna screw this guy. Like, it is never gonna end. We will not stop. I have access to an endless amount of money. He has no idea how bad this is going to be. He can apologize 1,000. This was after it was something after he had apologized, and then everyone was like, when he came out and said I was wrong. This is like, that's not good enough. This is never going to end. Good. And I just thought to myself, when I saw that, I was like, good, right? There are so many people out there that are just like, how much more money do you need? All right. Is he dead yet? No. Okay, then keep going. Is he dead? Good. Okay, well, now go after everything he owned and gave away. Go get it, all of it. And don't stop until you're done. And that's when you open up that kind of Pandora's box, you know what I mean? Like, I'm glad there's stuff like this. It just makes the world right for me. It's
called Schadenfreude, dude. Like, for anybody that is like, you know, and I struggle with it as someone that tries to embrace, you know, values and virtues and good things. And I know what's bad for the bee is bad for the hive. We should never want bad things to happen to bad people, that kind of shit. But I'll tell you something. Knowing that Alex Jones is broke and they're going to take him out gives me an erection. Like, it makes me, people like Alex Jones have to be taken out of circulation. And knowing that interview exists, and I have seen the same thing, and knowing who's behind it, Bill Gates, a couple other people that have an endless supply of money, saying, no, we'll make sure that you're covered. Make sure you chase this guy into the sewers and make sure he has a fucking complete nervous breakdown when he gets there. That is fucking music to my ears. Same thing with Pat King. Can I bring this up?
Yes.
Pat King, he's in court today.
Again.
You know what the court date was for? The fucking dude gets bad news or charged with something else every 7 fucking days. And I love it.
Tuesdays are horrible.
I fucking live for it. Not only did he show up in court today, not only did he not get bail, because that wasn't what it was about, he got charged with 3 more things. 3. The Crown proceeds with an indictment, potentially bringing stiffer penalties upon conviction. King is going to return April 26th. He has been in jail for over 2 months. And you know what the fucking great part is? I love it.
He can't get out of jail.
He'll never get out of jail. Pack is like, because he's a terrible shit. He's as Ryan points out, he's a giant pile of fuck. Yeah. Like, same thing with Alex Jones. There are people out there who are intent on hurting other people because they live via comparison, right? Pat King thinks he should have the access to be able to do whatever he wants because he thinks the government sucks. Get it. We all get it. The government does suck. We totally understand it. But we have 3 different parts to our brain. He's got 2. Same with Alex. We have the reasoning portion of our minds, right? Alex does not. He's got the lizard brain and the emotional brain. It's evolutionary psychology 101. The reason why these fucking dogs, the reason why every single one of these pigs is in trouble and perpetually in trouble and is going to lose everything is because they allowed the lizard emotional part of their brain to override the reasonable part of it. It is not a reasonable thing to point out that 22 children in Sandy Hook never got shot in the head. It is not a reasonable thing to show up at a funeral and protest. It is not a reasonable thing to drive hate. Gross. So when I see someone who drives hate with their unreasonable lizard brain get exactly what they got coming to them, I get excited. And I think you should too. Does it make us worse people? Probably a little bit. No. I'm okay with it, though, because there's very little joy left in someone's at the age of 49. And I get a ton of joy watching guys like Pat King show up to court with his cap in hand and have him hit with fucking 2 more perjury charges and another collusion charge. I get erect when I see Alex Jones file for bankruptcy and then Ryan puts out a picture of him before and after his diet. Like, I get excited for this stuff. And the reason why I get excited is because I have a brain and I like to use it. That's it. That's it. You can call me a terrible person. You can call me whatever you like. But fucking be mindful and enjoy this. You know when you go on a vacation and you're like, I need to take mental pictures because I'll never get this experience again. Whether you're in Rome, Hungary, Dublin, whether you're at your child's bris or your child's circumcision, same thing, your child's communion, whether or not you're at your kid's like fucking holiday play, and you're like, this is so beautiful, I want to take note of this incredible experience. When I saw Pat get hit with 3 more charges today, when I saw Alex Jones file for bankruptcy, when I saw the Moskva sink like a fucking pile of bricks, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I don't care how many people were on that boat. Does it make me a bad person? Not really.
No.
It makes me excited.
No, and you got to stop feeling that guilt, I think. What you're getting is you're victory for the wicked comes quickly, and victory for the righteous comes slow. And what you're getting is victory for the people who were aggrieved. Somebody that was fucked over. So when it comes to Pat King, I'm happy for the people in Ottawa getting justice for what happened. The rest of the country getting justice for what happened there. The Moskva, the people of Ukraine get a good feeling. You heard Alex, like it actually lifted his spirits to know that, hey, we're doing something. Alex Jones, those fucking parents, you will never ever fill that hole, but you can keep trying, and I hope they keep trying and keep tapping that fucking well until it is so dry that you don't even know it existed.
That he's a sewer rat,
yeah.
How, like, I see InfoWars stickers on cars. Like, how do you rationalize that? I don't get that.
$165 million US in fucking gross returns between 2015 and 2018. There are a lot of fucking idiots out there. a lot of idiots.
That's bizarre to me. I see
know.
it.
Just so
I
you know,
see
we
it
moved
more-
about 200 shirts in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, for good things.
Yeah.
You know, isn't that funny? Isn't
Yeah,
that
it's
funny?
amazing. But you know what? He ran towards that extreme crowd, right? Like that
Yep.
extreme crowd is the crowd that actually
They want 'em.
spends a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. We got that from I can't remember. We had a politician on a while
Matt.
ago, and he's like, Matt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or sorry, it was Matt
Matt.
Fawcett.
Matt, yeah, he told us because
Matt
I've
Fawcett.
always been baffled why politics is so driven to the far left and the far right. And then he explained it by, "Are you in the middle?" I'm like, "Yes." And he said, "Have you ever given money to a political party?" And I went, "No." And he went,
I'm smart.
and he went, "That's why the guys that go to pocket are the ones that are a little more extreme on one side or the other."
Yeah.
And it's so true, right?
Yeah,
and it's funny.
absolutely.
It's funny. Alex Jones has that another sort of that wing of his business where he'll sell all the snake oil, right? And who's going to be buying that shit? The people that are
Extreme.
crazy enough to think that he has got something to offer.
Dumb fucks.
Yeah,
Dumb fucks
so-
without the ability to reason. Wait a second. A high school dropout that yells about gay frogs is selling a tincture that's going to make my wiener bigger.
Better buy
Probably not
that.
gonna buy it.
Sign me
Get
up.
it? Yeah.
Sign me up.
Send
Is
me
there
a case.
discount code? I don't care.
Send me a case.
Yeah.
Shit we
And-
didn't get to today, by the way.
Parent-
Sorry, go ahead, Ron.
Apparently Monday. That's all. And like his entire show was just him begging his fucking flock
money?
Of, yeah, to keep
That's not a
fleecing
good
them
look,
for money.
Is there any video of him begging people for
I'll
money?
find. You know what? I should go and dig it. I'll go.
Oh,
and dig
dude,
it.
you know how great
Yeah.
that post would be for people? Like, listen, I'm going to give everybody who's running an online business a little pro tip. If you put Schadenfreude in video form on your website, you will get thousands and thousands of clicks.
Yeah.
Thousands. It's all people want. It's like the fucking meat that is sustaining the rest of us as we go through this fucking thing. Like I was reading today, all the doctors that are getting pulled on the carpet for selling bukkake fugazi bullshit. And in the States, there's one dude that was selling this weird like oil, and it's 6.2 million he made. And they're like, "You're going to jail. You're going to jail." Dude, it is coming around for all these fucks. And it's like literally a cash grab. You're seeing the walls close in around people like Pat King, who got charged with a bunch of stuff today. He's never getting out of jail. You're seeing the guys like Alex Jones get squeezed where he's got to file for bankruptcy and do an entire hour begging people for money. I mean, it is coming home. It is shit-eating season to the balls, man. I fucking dig this. You should too.
I'm gonna pull a
We all
Jerry.
should.
I'm gonna pull a Jerry soon.
What's that?
Out in the
Jerry,
street
Jerry,
corner.
jerk off.
Springtime Jerry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull a springtime Jerry. If I see Alex Jones going down, I'm bringing my phone
As you should.
in my other hand.
Stuff we didn't get to this week, and I know we got to the religious stuff.
Yeah,
yesterday
we did a really good job of covering that yesterday.
Well, more shit. Like as what happens, right? Like more stuff comes to the forefront.
Yeah.
If you remember this video, which we talked about, it's like springboard into what the fuck is wrong with Jesus freaks. This was the video. I actually titled it "Shoot Me" because if this happened on a flight that I was on, I'd ask you to shoot me before I got on.
Oh
the
shit!
plane.
Is there
Marshall.
The dude in the green plaid kills me every time. He looks like you and me, look. Like, shut the
I would not have been able to not say something.
As
Well,
much
there's a new
as
thing going around. Go ahead.
As much as I get the douche chills from it, I've watched it 1,000 times just to look at the other people. The guy in front of him is doubled over, pissing himself laughing. The guy in the green shirt's wife is laughing at her husband who's dying, who wants to get shot in the head.
Get off,
Like,
shoot me.
watching the show that's going on around the show is worth the cheap at twice the price. Take a look next time.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's incredible. But it was like that springboard into all these videos. So we played that yesterday, and people sent me 40 more videos like this. And
Of
then I
that?
talked to a guy. Dude,
Is this
I
a
talked to guy-
regular thing? I'm going to stop
well,
fucking
hold on.
traveling.
It gets even
I'm
worse.
never going to get on a plane.
It gets
I
even
swear
worse.
to God.
Dude, it gets
They got to
worse.
stop it. Airlines, if you're listening to this program right now, you need to fucking make this not happen.
Yeah.
Like, this needs to be an arrestable offense. I'm
Agreed.
sorry.
Sharing
I'd
your
rather
faith with a
see
trapped
Jerry
crowd.
whack off with his blue helmet in the aisle. I swear to God.
The air marshal should have full jurisdiction to put a
boom.
bullet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Well, let me put this out for you. So there's a new movement in QAnon and in evangelical extremist groups. It's called trapped witnessing. That's what that is. So they call sharing the good news of Jesus Christ the lie. They call that witnessing to people, helping people come to the kingdom of heaven, saving people. And I'll get to what repentance is in just a second. So this is a whole movement that's going around. QAnon has co-opted it. All these people are like literally going into places where people have like coffee shops or airplanes or buses and telling people to repent or they're going to die. Like this happened in a movie theater in California yesterday. I want you to watch this and try not to throw up in your own mouth.
Jesus is returning.
Watch it.
Jesus is coming back. If you put your faith in Jesus Christ, He will save you. This life here is just short life. We don't know about tomorrow. But if you put your faith in Jesus Christ, you will have everlasting life. So Jesus loves you. Keep these words in your heart. Thank you.
Fuck you, Doug.
That's what somebody should have. Fuck you, Judas.
Dude,
Promise.
that's you at a movie. You punched the guy out.
Everybody watching this right now, that if I see something like that in a public setting,
Trapped witnessing?
a plane, a coffee shop, a movie theater, I am going to tell that guy to fucking shut up. I swear to all of you that I promise my life, all of you, that I am going to do that.
I'm going to say some cross words.
And I think what needs to happen is we all
I'll be
need to
cross.
step up. Everybody, every single one of us needs to step up and promise that we're going to do the same. It's not going to be easy. Trust me. I can feel the anxiety about the possibility of doing it rushing
That's
through
right.
my body right now.
I love
But
you.
it's going to happen. It needs to be a movement. If they're going to continue to do this bullshit and force that fucking nonsense on people in public places, they need to be prepared for me, the Lachlan's of the world. Shut the fuck up, Doug. That's coming out of my mouth.
Doug. Somebody on your Twitter when you shared that today, Dean, had the best reply out of the entire group, and it was, "Wow, these Marvel end credit videos are getting really fucking horrible." I don't know who said it, but it was really funny.
Oh my
Why
god,
does
I
that make
fucking
me
love
so
it.
angry? Why does it make me so angry?
Because it's fucking stupid and wrong and it's offensive and it's fucking abusive to shove your religion down someone's throat after a fucking movie or when you're on a flight like this guy did, leading everybody in the magic prayer of repentance. I'll explain the prayer of repentance in a second. This was another trapped witnessing event that happened on the weekend. There are hundreds of these videos. I'm going to filter them out all week. This week on Twitter, I said I promised to hang a fucking religious dog shit collar on every single person that weaponizes their religion. And I'm going to do it. And I ain't going to stop. So this is, once again, Locke, imagine being on this flight.
Jesus,
Why does this stress me out so much?
the Bible says all you have to do is repent and give your life to Jesus. And if there's anybody in here tonight that would like to do that, would you raise your hand?
Sit
Amen.
down. Sit down.
So right now, just say, Jesus,
Jesus,
I give you my life.
I give you my life.
Fill me with the Holy Spirit.
Fill me with the Holy Spirit
And change my life.
and change my life.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
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 I'd open the door. I just open the door and watch them all get sucked out.
Emergency exit.
Yeah, I'm gone. See you guys.
He's getting a sit down, Tubby. Fucking put a hot dog in that
What about
fucking
this?
hole.
What about this?
That's exactly what that calls for. Right there.
And if there's an instrument involved,
Doug.
Yeah.
there's an instrument involved.
Brother of God, what's your name? Steve. Fuck you, Steve.
Fuck you, Steve. It's called trapped witnessing. Just be prepared for it if you ever take public transit. If a crazy religious person stands up and starts telling you about
on this podcast.
Oh, dude,
in weeks.
Get ready. You're coming to Toronto. It'll probably happen on your flight in a couple of weeks.
We're gonna set it up.
Can I tell you what that prayer is? There's the truth. Because I grew up in this shit, and it is deadly dumb. You have to be fucked in the head to believe any of this stuff. By the way, that prayer is called the salvation prayer in evangelical circles, or the prayer of repentance. Now, here's the fucking great part about that prayer. If you recite it, you're going to heaven.
Just like that.
Like that. It's magic. Those are the magic words you need to say to go to heaven. Come into my life, make me a new person. I give my life to you. Boom. And then when you do it, the person you're praying with looks at you and goes like this. You're going to heaven.
Wow.
You've done nothing. You have not become a better person. You have not evolved as an individual. You have not looked into the tenets and the fucking values of that garbage religion. All you've done is said the magic Harry Potter words.
So then why what do we waste our time for?
Dude, I've already done it. I did it when I was like 9. My mom made me do it. I'm like, all right. So I'm in. It's that. You know what that's called? That's called eternal salvation.
You only
So
need
if
to
you
do it
said
once.
it once, and how they sell you on it,
Set it and
which you
forget
heard
it.
the dude in the set it and forget it. Yeah, it's like a fucking alarm that goes off all the time. Just got to set it the one time. You just got to say once. You can actually, because in the Bible it says your works on earth are dirty rags. You can do whatever you want. So the only thing that matters is you saying that prayer of repentance and going to heaven. That's it. So it actually doesn't even come with the idea that you're going to embrace any of the philosophy behind what the Christ talked about, which is being a good person, loving your neighbor as thyself, all that stuff. They fucking gloss right over that. If you just say these magic words, you're in the club. And you're living forever, dude. Like, that's the other thing. You will live
eternal salvation.
Forever.
Yeah.
I'm going to let Jerry know.
Yeah. He probably should say it quick before anything gets too out of hand. He might have to say it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will get me in trouble for sure.
Well, that's okay. We're with you.
Thanks, bud.
We're with you because I'm the same. You know what? I don't go and yell at somebody to tell them how much I love things at all. Like, I don't tell
someone they're going to hell when you're trying to be their friend. You don't do that?
No. Just you can't even relate it to any other situation where for some reason we've all become conditioned, even if you're an atheist and you're just passive or you're agnostic, whatever. We've become conditioned to think this is just, it's normal. He just loves Jesus. Imagine anybody else doing this for anything other than religion. Imagine it's
if
about
a Muslim guy
game.
stood up in a fucking movie theater screaming Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
Get rushed, get arrested, might get shot by
in the States,
security. Yeah.
We were talking about this because there's a story about Tom Cruise, who is a Scientologist, and they're filming Top Gun, which is coming out, I think, next month. The new one, Maverick, and Val Kilmer, who was not is it Goose? No, Iceman. Iceman from the first one. So he was
Iceman.
sort of
what was he, Jewish?
So anyway, back in the day when the original Top Gun came out, Val was like Tom's, his alter ego, and they whatever. Everybody knows the fucking movie. So this new one, Val Kilmer comes in to film his parts for the new movie and announces to Tom Cruise that he has cancer, and it's throat cancer. If you guys get a chance, watch. I think it's on Prime. Yes, it's on Prime. You should watch the documentary just called Val. It's very interesting. It's really well done. But I guess there was a day where Tom decided he was going to cure Val during the filming of the follow-up to Top Gun Maverick, and they had a little prayer circle, and he got everybody down on their knees, and he stood in that circle, and he put his hands on Val's throat to cure him. And I said to the guys, I said, just fucking imagine if you saw me doing that to a coworker in the sales pit. Like, just wrap your fucking heads around that.
They'd send you to the insane asylum.
They
You'd be
would.
fired and barred
it's
from
just,
the building.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Fuck, what are you doing? Well, I'm
Laying
curing
hands.
Barb. She's got a migraine. Like, what the fuck? What is wrong with the world? Like, how does this get... Why do certain people get away with this?
This
Like,
is what I mean. If it's in
Because
the
that's been normalized. Like our societies were traditionally built on colonialism. And what was colonialism? It was Catholicism and Lutheranism, actually, which is Christianity, which is what we know today. So
Yeah.
like was same, you can ask the same question when you're like, how is it possible for the RCMP and the Catholic Church to kill so many young indigenous babies back in the 1800s and early 1900s? How is that possible? Well, fuck, that's how. I mean, that is why we've normalized the terrorism of non-religious people by trying to communicate to everybody that it's the white man's religion. It's totally cool.
That's it.
Seriously.
It's
That's
true.
what it is. And it's all horseshit. It's all a cult. The whole fucking thing is a cult. I'm here to tell you that it's a cult because I was in it.
Me too.
Total fucking cult. It's all based on guilt and fear and fire insurance. That's it.
Yep.
That is not a religion or a philosophy. You know what that is? Bullshit. All of it. Bullshit. And here's the other part. If you subscribe to a religion that says only that religion has access to the afterlife, that's bullshit, by the way. Just so you know. Pro tip. You're welcome.
Yeah, it's funny how the rules of them are always crafted around the number one rule is you can't talk bad about us. It's like Trump's social media platform.
Which is
You can be here, but you can't talk bad about us, or else I will kill you
That's the ticket,
for
right?
eternity.
Those are the
You know?
guys, those loving Jesus people, those are the people that send me death threats, by the way.
Oh yeah, they want
By
to
the
kill
dozens.
you so hard,
It's the
like
best.
over and over.
It's the best. I hope that's how I die.
Eternal damnation.
Seriously. I hope I die
That's just a
via
bunch of
some
keyboard
evangelical
words.
wacko taking me out. And I'm going to take pictures of the whole thing, and I'm going to send them to you lot. He's killing me, but make sure these get out.
Make sure you put these. Write a blog post for fuck's sakes, Lachlan. Haven't seen one in a week.
Before we go, I do want to play one thing, and it has nothing to do with anything we've talked about. You guys know Brittle Star Stuart Reynolds. He's a friend of ours, friend of the show.
Great dude.
Canada's dad, just a beautiful man. He came from somewhere, right, where you look at a guy like Brittle Star Stuart Reynolds, who's one of our favorite people in the world. Love, peace, Canada. That's what he's all about. He came from his mom, obviously, right?
Breaking
his mom's
news.
name's Betty. Yeah. I had no idea Betty had chops, but obviously Stuart gets it from somewhere. Check out Betty Reynolds, Brittle Star's mother's Welcome to Spring video, baby.
Oh, hello. I was just looking out the window. Isn't it great that spring's here? It'll be so nice to get out with maybe a wee light jacket on, or maybe no jacket into the warm weather. But I was thinking, it's still too soon to go topless.
She's so cute. She's so adorable.
So
Oh
good.
my
I
god.
laughed so hard when I saw that today.
That's
I'm like,
Scottish. That's Scottish.
Yeah.
she's
Yeah, that's
totally
hard.
Scottish, yeah.
as
Maybe
Scottish as it
a
gets.
wee coat. Maybe.
Oh, hello. I was just looking out the window. Isn't it great that spring's here? It'll be so nice to get out with maybe a wee light jacket on, or maybe no jacket into the warm weather. But I was thinking, it's still too soon to go topless.
So cute.
My mom would never do that. She'd never go for that. If I said, hey, Mom, let's do this thing about you going topless, she'd be like, go fuck you. My dad would beat the shit out of me.
Get that
Right
on
back,
tape.
right back to 12-year-old
Oh my
Dean.
God. He would beat the shit out of me.
And now
What'd you
here's
say?
a video of Dean Blundell getting
Getting
beat
his
up by the
ass
old
kicked by
man.
his tiny dad. I'm still
Dad's
afraid of my
strength.
dad.
Please.
Yeah, well, dude, everybody's afraid of their dad, right?
No.
Okay, well, you're not because you're fucking enormous. That's different. Anyway, boys, thanks for doing this today. It was a lot of fun.
That was great.
Thank you. That was a good one. I'm glad we got Alex on again.
You, Doug!
Fuck you, Doug. Can we make sure we try to get Alex on every Tuesday here?
Yep,
Okay,
absolutely.
Good, good,
Don't
good.
forget, Lachlan has invented our shop along with our friend Scotty, and you can buy all kinds of stuff there. We would highly encourage you. We'd like to get to 10 grand. I think we're just over 5 as Lachlan has done all the due diligence. And listen, I want to thank you. That was a lot of work that you've done and put into this to be able to help Alex. So please donate to the Donate to Alex in Ukraine Fund. We're just over 5 grand, as Lachlan's pointed out. You can also get the shirt. You can also get the GFY merch line, which is really incredible. It's Go Fuck Yourself or Good For You, depending on how plucked you feel when you're wearing it. But yeah, please, if you could find it in your heart to donate to him, we're going to fire off that money to him as soon as we get to 10 grand. And we thought we'd get to 3 in a month, I think.
Yeah, when you get your stuff, take pictures. We want to see it. Put it on Twitter or wherever, Facebook, wherever we are that you follow us, and show us.
I want to put a cap on it. I want to put a cap on the timeline here to put some urgency behind it. Let's go to the end of August or April, I should say. Let's go to the end of April, and then I'd like to be able to send him a check at the beginning of May, right away.
Yeah.
We can just email transfer him. I'm hoping, right, so we can get the cash right away.
He asked for PayPal because PayPal has waived all the fees when it comes to that kind of stuff. You might be able to just e-transfer as well, but if you want to send it one lump sum, we can PayPal it to him and directly to him.
We'll figure it out. The second best summer ever hats are selling like hotcakes on the locker room merch page. So there you go. We got that. We got that. Oddly, that's the one item that's selling off of our page.
I need to update my hat. So I'm going to get rid of the Tie Cat hat and I'm going to put Summer 2 hat next to the Summer 1 hat.
Second best summer ever.
We'll see how next year goes. We might have to put another nail in the wall.
Yeah, old Kenny fucking pulled the pin on COVID-19 and we're lighting it up.
Oh, dude, so are we. I think we got, what were we at? Like 1,800 hospitalized, 200
You're over 2,000 today.
Yeah, and over 200 in the ICU again. Kids are like hitting pediatric wards hard.
Half of the people in ICU are children.
We're not doing
Nobody's
as
talking about
bad.
it anymore,
I haven't seen the latest numbers. There has been an uptick in Alberta, but we're holding off. The numbers aren't like going nuts on the ICU front in Alberta. Like you guys are dealing with it a little bit more. The hospitalization numbers, I think you guys are at the peak of the 6th wave though. For some reason, you guys got the 6th wave a little sooner than we've been getting it here in the prairies.
I think it's
population.
an urban issue, right? You're rural, further to go to get it. A lot more people here fucking standing next to each other all the time. Everybody's like, hey, fuck, let's breathe on each other.
Yeah.
Did you hear what they did in the States? They pulled the mask mandates for domestic travel in a plane. If you're in a plane or in an airport now, it's now no longer mandatory to wear a mask.
Exciting, isn't it? Nothing like rolling the fucking dice. I love it.
Biden was trying to get that turned down, or he was trying to, and some judge or something in Florida threw it out. So it's gone. Yeah.
It's exciting, folks. Like we told you many times, Lachlan, I believe, coined the phrase, you are on your own.
I said it last year.
You said it last year, yep.
Right? I've been right a lot through this whole thing.
Yeah. Not really. Rick Love says, Locke, Alberta healthcare ain't telling anyone. There's no way. That's the other thing. We have no idea. We just know that hospitalizations are through the roof. And today, Doug Ford's like, we got plenty of beds. So he's planning on making a ton of people sick. Like, he's like, oh, we got lots of room. No. We'd rather just fill up the ICU. We'd rather fill up all these hospital beds.
Well,
and then he announced a refurbishment of another hospital today to the tune of $1 billion. He's like, well, listen, more people are going to get sick, and we're not interrupting business, and I'm not interfering in the business of my crazy, fucked up daughter. So more hospital beds it is.
I don't think it's a bad thing if politicians start throwing some money at the healthcare system.
No.
One of the issues at the beginning of the pandemic that you didn't hear a lot of honesty from our public officials. And I remember seeing one interview, and this guy stepped up to the plate, and it didn't get covered a lot. I saw that interview and I was like, that's going to go viral. It didn't do anything. He was basically saying that the healthcare system in Canada is on the verge of collapse, even without a pandemic. And he said, that's the bigger issue here. And that should be the bigger conversation, is that we can't handle our normal life and our normal existence in this country. And that's part of the reason why they pushed the mandates so hard, is because they knew that we're fucked anyway. Like, and that's the issue that we have in this country, is that we don't have a healthcare system that can support the population that we have in good times. So when things go from shit to fuck, we're in trouble immediately. It doesn't take anything at all to get us to a situation of chaos and concern. Yeah. And now what we're dealing with is a lot of the healthcare workers who are getting COVID and having to stay home because they're sick. So now it's even taxed even more, right?
Yeah.
Well, and this
but
is
the
what
thing is that they've removed all the information, so we have no idea how bad it is. Sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say it's great. I agree with Lachlan. We should be building all these hospitals. That's absolutely. Yeah. But you can build the fanciest restaurant in the world, but unless you have a chef inside there cooking food, it's fucking useless. You can put as many tables in there as you want. Yeah. You can't do anything with it. We have the infrastructure that he's trying to build. It's smoke and mirrors. It's like when you go to North Korea and you see the shops with all the fresh fruit in the window. It's a house of cards. That's all this is. This is an election ploy.
This is why I've spent so much time in my life learning to be a medical professional. Yeah, like I ear candle. I take care of my own feet. Like I've learned to. I cut my own moles off and skin tags. Yeah. Right. And I just got a bottle.
Do you like tie a hair around them?
No, toenail.
Are we
clippers.
really going to get into skin tag conversations at the end of the podcast?
I have some scars, like, because they're hard to get to on the neck.
Right. You and get one, you're like, that's a bleeder. Yeah, like that's a bleeder.
We got a bleeder. I've had like tea towels on my neck from cutting off a skin tag.
Well, there's a reason why you're not supposed to do it yourself, and I believe that lines up with one of the biggest, because you could bleed to death.
If I can reach it, I'm getting it with the toenail clipper.
Fuck, you're weird, man.
I love you, Dr. Locke.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate it. That is Lachlan Cross from 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton, at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. Give my man a follow.
Thank you, boys.
He's one of the greats, as well as, and we'll listen to his radio show, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. You can go and head over to the website, 957cruisefm.ca. They're on weekdays.
Live reads are back tomorrow.
Yeah, dude. I you know what I heard there? Can I be honest with you? When I heard you talk about how you couldn't get through a 30-second commercial because your attention span was no good, you know what I thought there? I thought Lachlan's turning into a pussy. I did.
Yeah.
Like in my heart of hearts, I was like, that's not something I would hear Lachlan say normally. Normally he'd go, fuck, guys, it's 30 seconds. Just kill the read. You're going to kill it.
I've been trying to be that guy. But then when we get into the read and we fuck it, that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to be the guy that does the right thing, right? For the client.
Well, take the read home. Practice it, go in and nail it tomorrow, and show everybody how good the Karen phytoplankton thing is. I guess. I don't know.
I want to try this stuff, actually.
Well, you should.
I want to hear the read.
Bring it tomorrow. Can you bring the read?
Can you bring it?
Okay, I'll send you guys.
We'll give her a bunch of free plugs. Yeah. It'll just be funny watching you struggle.
I should. I'll go in and I'll grab a couple from last week.
Nice.
The Friday one, because I think I was still drunk. Was bad. I was reading Jimmy's lines.
Now we're catching on to why you can't get through the read.
Yeah,
right? 30 seconds. Yeah, we got it. Anyway, Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. At Ryan Lindley on Twitter, Sheeple Shepherd Podcast. Thanks, boys. Appreciate you as always. Good to see you. And we'll see you soon. Everybody, rock your body. Back streets back. All right. I love that song. Have a great day, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Don't forget, you can find everything we do at deanblundell.com, including our sponsors for this podcast, our friends over at Easy Auto Financial, making it easy for you to get into a car depending on your financing. That's really what everything depends on, right? Financing. These guys are aces at it. They're incredible. Subprime. They'll get you great rates if you got great credit. They'll get you good rates if you got terrible credit. These guys are really, really good at it, and no obligation either. Go to easyautofinancial.ca, sign up. Go look for your car, give them your financing information. Boom, they'll get back to you with the car you want, dealership you want to get it from, and all that jazz. Go to easyautofinancial.ca today. Good people. Our friends at Domination, helping people do their content, specifically promos out of content that you do like this. If you're a gamer, streamer, podcaster, go to dmntn.com and use their service. You feed a file into this thing, try it for free. It gives you like 30, 70 promos. It doesn't even matter. It's like fucking incredible tech. AI for people that produce online content. Try them today. Go to dmntn.com and check them out. Also, Ed at Ed's Fine Imports and his Gitch. We wear them. You should too. Luxury branded underwear, boxer briefs, pouch in the front. Gitch3 is your promo code. Order from Ed. He'll send you a free pair when you order 3 or more. Clothing for men and boys too. He's got a huge online store, actually. Great stuff. So go to edsfineimports.com. Order your Gitch from Ed. Use promo code Gitch3 and you are off to the races. Don't forget, you can sign up for our newsletter at deanblundell.com. And when you sign up for that newsletter, we'll send you this stuff. You can pick and choose a la carte. We'd appreciate it if you do that too. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube, Twitch, Dean Blundell TV, and anywhere you get your fine podcasts, Google, Spotify, etc. Rate, review, all that stuff. Thank you. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Can't remember who we have tomorrow. I want to say Michael Geist, or is that Thursday? Geist. Oh, David Moskva tomorrow. Fuck, I love this guy. David Moskva. Canadian guy, writer for the Academics, super bright, writes for the Post, the Globe, and he's brilliant. So if you're a Moskva guy, we'll have him on tomorrow. I really enjoyed talking to him today for like an hour. We were talking about everything. Smart dude, smarter than me, and I love surrounding myself with people who are smarter than me, and it ain't that hard. David Moskva tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you then. Bye.